Alrighty, welcome everybody. Let's get going today. Welcome to South Suburban Esports. We're here at the Lone Tree Hub with Highlands Ranch High School and the Falcons and their Mario Kart 8 team. They're in the PlayVS National Cup Finals, or National Cup Playoffs rather. You'll see it at the top of your screen. They're going to be playing against the Leadership Prep Liondrifters. And with me today I have Montez. He's one of the Mario Kart players. Montez, introduce yourself, introduce your teammates, and tell me a little bit about what's going on over there.
My name is Montez. We got Solo Psych, Fat Boy, Golrith, and Stormtrooper. Yeah, that's basically it.
Tell me a little bit about each one of them, because you're going to know them best here.
So Fat Boy and Golrith are basically going to be the front runners. They're going to be the ones trying to go for 1 and 2 every race. Stormtrooper's probably going to be like the mid runner, going for like 4th and 5th, and then Solo Psych, roll of a bagger, try to get good items in last, and then eventually build up on the last lap.
Gotcha, I got you. So a whole team dynamic you got going on. Well, good stuff, and yeah, looks like we can see up there they're getting into lobbies, creating their cars. Yep, code is in, so we'll be getting going here soon. The format is as follows. It is a best of 3, but each match is going to be 6 races, and the race winner is going to be decided by cumulative points. So we'll have the active score up on the scoreboard during each race, and then we will have the actual series score somewhere else, or we'll remind you of it as it goes on. But yeah, pretty simple stuff. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You guys have probably all seen this game before. Shout out Tyler for having this all together. Coach out there, and I think who's the one guy here?
Mr. Everett, he's the athletic director.
Sweet. All right, yeah, we even got the athletic director popping in for Highlands Ranch to come say hi and see what's going on here. And shout out to Golrith. He is a graduating senior. Had to get principal's permission to bump out of the graduation practice today to be here, but we're glad he could show up now that the team is in nationals for, I believe, the first time, if I heard correctly from conversations. Then got a few other folks here as well, just hanging out, having some fun, enjoying some matches, and yep, there we go. Last of the cars are being created, so once that's in, we should see the final rule set. I believe it's just 150cc standard items.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. And then just quick question for you. Do you know if the cumulative team score is displayed after each match, or we're going to have to add that up?
Every race, they add up the points, and then eventually at the end, they have a leaderboard right after.
Okay, sounds good. So they'll show you the placements and then the team score?
They show placements, and then they add up the points.
Okay, baller. Sweet, sounds good. Yeah, everything should be good on our end, and then Coach seems to be corroborating with the other team around here. Liondrifters are technically the home team, but it's not going to matter because it's just going to be random selectment. Does everybody get to choose their race, and it's just you use the standard wheel, or does everybody have to go random?
Everybody has to pick a random map in these kind of situations.
Gotcha. So, or is in like the actual random, the choice where you can just choose random?
Yeah, you have to pick random.
Okay, gotcha. So completely random, that makes it a little more fun. Can't quite grind it. It's nice because that kind of forces you to play everything. Yeah, good stuff. So once they get going, we'll be back here soon. Yeah, we're just going to sit here, have a good time. Highlands Ranch, it's a bunch of fun. Got our local guys in here. We're going to have a good time. So cool. Also, shout out Ben. He's the guy. He's doing our production over here. If he wants to wave in the camera at some point, you can hear. He doesn't want to. He's been here. You guys know him as the one that mostly runs the Rocket League stuff. You guys tuned in yesterday. We got a Rocket League 2v2. Is it weekly now, or is it bi-weekly? It's bi-weekly. Okay, so bi-weekly tournaments for Rocket League. If you guys are already decent at Rocket League, $150 each time we do that is up for grabs. But you got some tough competition in. You got Taroko, you got Grills, you got some big superstars in there. Good times. So okay, seems like we're still getting in. It seems like everybody's got their car figured out, just getting set and making sure that everybody's ready on both sides. And yeah, it's you know what, good times, not too bad. If you guys aren't too familiar with the program that we have going on here, welcome everybody from Highlands Ranch High School. We're glad you're having a good time and tuning into the stream today. We are based out of Lone Tree, Colorado. We're actually less than 10 minutes down the road from you guys off of Yosemite and Lone Tree Parkway at the Lone Tree Hub, 8827 Lone Tree Parkway if you ever want to stop by. And we might end up hosting you guys a little bit next year for some of your guys' matches. That's still in the talks. But if you guys ever want to stop by, we have our esports program. We have drop-in hours. We do birthday parties. We have summer camps for kids, anywhere from 6 to 17 years old. So if that's something you're interested over, then we do that as well. We also host another high school, but we host I believe a 3A or a 2A high school. I can't remember. I graduated when we were 3A, but I think we got demoted to 2A. Either way, point is it's not in your guys' competitive division, but we do host another high school, and we do Rocket League, we do Street Fighter, we do Hearthstone, we do a bunch of games. So things might get added to the roster here coming soon, but that's kind of what we do around here. And last week we just got done hosting our big event. Twice a year we do big events called the South Suburban Esports Showcase, where we host mainly fighting game tournaments. We do mystery brackets, raffles, bunch of stuff. So if you guys missed out on that, the VODs are up on the Twitch channel across various streaming platforms. And yeah, that's kind of our program around here. So if you guys are interested, you're always free to call in or shoot us an email. We are part of the South Suburban Parks and Rec District, so we do run through them and all the activities that go alongside them. There will be some slight differences if you guys decide to join us for anything. There's going to be some slight differences between district and non-district rates. So within Douglas County, you get your normal rates. Outside of Douglas County, it's like just a very slight increase. So yeah, that's the deal here. We're glad you guys are tuning in, and you got any words for the folks at home?
Nothing much, just have fun, watch the game. We're going to do our best to try to commentate through it and try to talk to some strategy, and we're just going to try to have a fun time here.
There you go. Good luck, don't throw. So seems like we're still going. Is this usual, or it usually takes a few minutes before we get going? Or
usually they're a little bit quicker. I guess like maybe the whole national thing, everybody's just trying to situate themselves, different time zones, all that. So makes
sense. We got 8 people in the lobby, so it should be going here pretty quickly. But where do your expertise lie in Mario Kart? I am a 200cc time trialer for the most part.
Oh, see, I'm just more of a casual kind of guy.
There
like
we go.
Joining online and just seeing where I get.
Having some fun doing some stuff. Exactly. Give me top 3 or 5 favorite tracks. Just rattle them off.
Well, I love Toad Circuit, Mario Circuit 3, and then probably the SNES Rainbow Road, the one with...
Nice.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
That one's so fun. Once you get there's some tough lines there on the 200cc time trial, but once you get it going, it's so fun to fly through those short courses at, like, Mach heck. So, bunch of fun there, yeah, for me. I'm a big fan of all the difficult ones. All the Wii tracks. Okay, yeah, so it looks like things are going. The rules are being displayed out there if any of you guys are curious. But, yeah, as far as I go, Cloud Top Cruise, any of the Rainbow Roads, any of the Wii tracks, those are just kind of all my fortes. Bowser's Castle, Grumble Volcano. Grumble Volcano is definitely top 3 for me. So, bunch of fun stuff there. Yep, there we go. Everybody has to pick random. We just got to let one more go. The wheel will roll. It's not like it's going to matter, though. I do wish they were able to just, like, I feel like it would be a pretty easy system to just detect if it was all the same, so you could skip the rolling animation. Yeah. But I guess it gives everybody an extra second to breathe. And let's see here. What did we land on? Donut Plains 3. Okay, so we got a short track. We got a short track, one that you're fond of to get things started today. But he's loading in different characters. Actually, no, we have 2 Inklings on there, and then we have Peachette and a Yoshi. So I'm personally a black Yoshi player, so shout out Stormtrooper. But things are going now. You guys can have a look at that solo psych burnout in the back, but that's okay because bagging strategies.
Yeah, that's the strat. Usually try to get to burnout so that you're all the way in the back and just get going and bagging.
There we go. So stuff. Well, we'll keep track of everything. Few items so far. Looks like Fat Boy has a couple of mushrooms they can use to start front running once again. And it's just, yeah, so it's just 8 people, so we're looking for some more top-heavy placements. The lowest you'll see is 8th. Bit of a slow start for the Falcons to get going, but those good items, once again, once you're playing with items, things are things can get feisty real quick. I know with my time trials, I'm not as used to items as I definitely should be, since I'm used to just, you know, sitting in a track alone and grinding out as fast of a pace as I can. But unfortunately, my boss is disturbingly getting in the way of the feed. No, it's okay. So I'll just mess with him. He's the guy that does everything around here. He gets a pass on pretty much everything. Shout out Tyler. So 3rd, 4th, 7th, and 8th. So again, still a little bit behind. The Liondrifters are 1 place ahead on average so far, but they're starting to close the gap a little here.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how much warm-up might affect the Irons range, because most of the guys got here pretty late in the school finals week. We'll see how that plays into it.
Right, so everybody's just kind of slammed at the moment. I get that too. I just finished up my finals last week, so definitely a headache. Although they didn't start warming up, leadership prep rather, they didn't start warming up until, I want to say, yeah, 15 minutes ago. So we'll see how much of an effect it has, but yep, as you guys can hear out there, some not bad finishes. The bottom half tend to be a little bit more ranch heavy, but leadership a little bit more top heavy. 5-point difference though, 6 races, you got plenty of time to make things up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking everybody's just getting their jitters out, you know, feeling warmed up. It's nationals, everybody's playing in new environments and stuff. And eventually people will get comfortable and we'll probably see some higher places here, hopefully.
Yep, everyone's just got to lock in real quick. Once you get a flow going, it should be quite all right. And worst case scenario, it is a best of 3, so you can, if you really need to, send the first few places to a wash. So wheel rolls once again. Let's see what we got if I can pick it up from this distance.
Yeah.
That looks like Bone Dry Dunes. If I'm not mistaken, yes, it is. All right, Bone Dry Dunes is our second one. Personally, my least favorite course in the entire game.
That entire cup is just awful. I can't do anything on it.
It's trash. Well, actually, no. I feel like Bone Dry Dunes, it's actually my least favorite one, but I like all the other ones because I believe it has Cloud Top, Mario Kart 8 Rainbow Road, and Bowser's Castle. So I'm cool with all the others, but I cannot stand this map for many reasons. So I'm glad I get to sit here and commentate it rather than actually having to play it myself because I would go insane very quickly. Yeah, 22-17 your current score, so...
Yeah, I'm curious if they're already ditching the bagging and if they're all just going to go up and play front.
Right, so Golrith hanging out in first, and then we got a fourth and a fifth. So already starting to be a better pace for Highlands Ranch, looking to close this gap early. Yep, first, third, fourth, and fifth. So yeah, 4 of the top 5 currently on Highlands Ranch. This would be a fantastic thing to keep if they can keep the lead here. Now things starting to even out, but still each one on Highlands Ranch 1 place higher. You got all the odd numbers.
Yeah, I would like if someone tried staying back, honestly, on this map. You never know what to expect, especially when the map is like this.
Yeah, Fat Boy, typical front runner, as you mentioned, is hanging back a little bit. We got a triple shell and a mushroom on one end, a couple of mushrooms else. Everybody's stacked up with items. The only person that doesn't have a defensive item at the moment is Fat Boy. Possibly Gorth, but he does roll a banana with the coin to protect it in case of any boos. Goreth gambles on a couple extra items, ends up with the same, but at least he's now on max coins to take advantage of that speed bonus.
Absolutely. That's what you try to do. You try to get coins early so you can just get going.
Yeah, exactly. You got to cruise with that like 10-11% speed buff that you can get from max coins. You cruise that. Keep that as long as you can, and especially keeping the coin protection strat. Common one, but it's very good to be super on top of that and not be too antsy with how you're playing your items.
Yeah, first place here would do Highlands Ranch pretty good. Everybody else is just hanging around the middle of the pack right now.
Yep, you're not nothing too crazy, nothing too terrible on either end. So you can keep going, and I think they should be able to close the gap if they can hold this out. Last lap, Gorith coming to a close, looking to secure first place, and is ahead by a decent margin. Should be able to outrun this blue shell. Maybe not, actually. I'm used to 200, so I would be able to outrun that in 200, but has just enough of a gap. No, actually doesn't. Second place. I thought he had it, but just barely. The Diddy comes up behind him, and look at that. 1 place average behind. That's a tough wrap.
Yeah, moments like that can really demoralize the room here. Let's hope they can bounce back from it.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it's still not too big of a deal. It's a 10-point difference.
Yeah, they still got 4 races, so they're fine.
And they were looking pretty good throughout Bone Dry Dunes, but I hate it for a reason, and this can be this can be one of them. So that's quite all right. Again, yeah, 4 more races, plenty of time to close the gap. Nothing to worry about here. Let's hope they can get a bit more of a favorable. Do you guys have any maps that you specialize in?
Not really. I mean, our favorite map is Excite Bike Arena because on the chat you get to say I'm excited all the time.
Really?
So that's really it. But
I got you. So Sherbert Land. Another interesting course. I feel like I don't have many huge opinions on this one.
Yeah, this one's just kind of a nothing burger, honestly.
Oh, nothing. I'm so glad there are more people in the world that say nothing burger. It is one of my favorite phrases of all time. So there we go. Looks like we even have a parent in here to watch live. So more people starting to stroll in and keep an eye on what's going on. So 10-point difference up here. I just got to keep going. Most important thing here, just to keep your routes pretty strong. So
yeah, most important thing is the start, because if you have a bad start, you can get behind pretty quickly in these competitive environments.
Right. So first set of item boxes. Golreth sitting with 4 mushrooms in 8th place, which is going to be very nice if he wants to take some cuts to get up to the front. Very valuable early, but I wouldn't blame him for hanging back just a little bit longer to save that. And Gorith actually, I think, takes a gamble on using all 3 of his mushrooms to get something more favorable, but ends up with just a single mushroom missing the item boxes.
Yeah, there's some maps that are like just known for their bagging. I'm questioning if this might be one of them, and that's why Gorith's staying back, and maybe he'll make his way up on the 3rd lap here. Yeah,
you need some mushroom favorable shortcuts. I don't think there are too many around here, though. I know, yeah, routing can be a little bit tough because there are a few paths you can take, and if you get confused for even half a set, because I know that happens when you give 96 tracks in this game, sometimes something just slips your memory. Okay, Golworth lucks out. He does get 3 mushrooms. I feel like he could have gotten something a little bit better, but that's just how the RNG runs sometimes. And yeah, that's how I'm mentioning. I think he was a little bit hasty on that second mushroom and didn't quite get the most value of it, but he's still sitting on a few more mushrooms still.
Yeah, and he's taking that mushroom cut right there. He's already back up to 4th.
Yep, not too bad. He can take the trick here, and he has a second mushroom to work with. Stormtrooper, though, hanging up front, though. 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. This is going to be huge if they can hold this lead. They're going to immediately cut the lead back and probably end up in their favor.
Yeah, everybody's role on this team kind of switches around depending on the situation. Everybody on this team is capable of getting first, so that's why you see guys like Stormtrooper sometimes taking the reign.
Right, so and if something happens, anyone can easily take their place. So, yep, right here, Golworth. Look at that. 0 to hero, just like that. And again, 1st, 3rd, 4th. Now 6th, but was briefly 5th.
This would be a great race if they can finish it up here.
Yeah, if they can clean this up, it's 3. We got the 3rd lap. Things are starting to come to a close. If they can hold this result now, 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Golworth locks in the 1st. 2nd place, locked in. 4th, also locked in 6th. That's a huge finish.
That's an unreal race for Highlands Ranch.
Yeah, that's nasty. You could see all those big results. Team scores coming up here in a moment. I believe they've probably just swung it right back in their favor. They have 3-point lead. Look at that. What do we say? Fantastic work. Again, that was very clean. Nothing crazy happened. And Golworth, especially MVP of that race, able to just clean back to front. Had to rely on a few mushrooms to get it. Again, I would want to see a little less haste. I can imagine there's some nerves and some jitters on the controller being in Nationals for the first time. But it's all right. You finish first anyway, and the rest of the team is up to scuff. And just like that, 10-point deficit turns into a 3-point lead.
Yeah, I just think sometimes they just have to embrace the bag. Like, if you're back there, you just go get good items, and eventually you can make your way up just like Golworth did.
Yeah, exactly. Just hang out, get something really spicy, and you know what? It took a lot of individual mushrooms, but he made it work out. I feel like you, since it's a 1 to 8, I feel like you probably don't see as many like top tier items like your gold mushrooms and your bullets.
Oh, you'll see a gold mushroom every now and then if you're that far back, but not really any bullets. And if you're lucky and bag hard enough, you might get a shock, and that's really good.
Yeah, that's not too bad, but again, it's like just because your items are a function of both place and distance from first, it can be a little tough to get some of those really high items. So I imagine a triple mushroom is typically like 4 mushrooms in your stockpile is kind of the best you can really look for most of the time. So
yeah, it's good if you want to take a cut around here, but
yeah, decent work. Tough back by Stormtrooper, but if he wants to keep bagging for some good shocks, then that would be all right. So I imagine the shock only affects the opposing team.
Yeah,
gotcha.
it only works the other team. Just like blue shells and red shells, you can't really hit unless you're in the way.
Sweet. So as much as my prowess exists in 200cc, I'm so unfamiliar with like real team competitive play that I'm asking a lot of questions here. But
yeah, the team play is a little bit different from individual.
Right. So got your item strats, your bagging, just lots of general things. Stormtrooper, though, hanging out with a couple of mushrooms. That's a decent double mushroom cut. I like what he's going for there. 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th. So a sandwich in the standings at the moment.
I mean, if Golworth can just keep moving up and solo side keep going back, you can probably get lucky with an item here.
Right. So, and again, he can bag here for a defensive item if he would like to. Okay, Golworth hangs out, still hanging out at 10 coins. Good awareness from him to be taking his tighter lines, know that he doesn't have to worry about any coins.
Oh, here comes a not friendly blue shell. Let's watch out here.
Blue shell takes out a couple. He should be able to get his coins back here real quick, though, on this last turn. Op's not, though. Understandable. He still has plenty of coins in his back pocket.
Yeah, so it looks like he's got to watch out with those triple red shells. If someone gets in the way of that path, that can hit your teammate and cause some damage.
That's a nice cut right there. For a minute, I thought that Golworth could have maybe gotten a cheeky snipe on the guy in 2nd place, but I like that he held his place since he had 2 defensive items and a better line to snag first anyway.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I don't like that he used his green shell there because 2 defensive items is very, very difficult to get in 1st place. I would have preferred he kept that.
I think he's taking the risk to try to get like a boom box or something so he doesn't have to worry about another red shell coming or blue shell.
Yeah, blue shell was scary last time around. It definitely cost him for a second. He really only got back into 1st place. He took very good lines, but there was also some nice, there were also some big mistakes coming out from the other team. And wow.
Oh, rough finish.
That's a really rough finish. Leadership prep just at the last second spammed all the items. And it ended up working out. This is going to swing massively back in favor of Leadership Prep. Yeah, look at that's tough. 16-point difference. There's still 2 races to go, so plenty of time.
Absolutely.
But that's a tough break to finish the 4th race in the first set.
Yeah, I think a top 4 is plus 19. So if they get top 4, they're back in it just like that.
Yeah, they're totally good, and they have 2 races to make up that difference. But it seems like the morale's okay out there. I could hear Golrith saying, like, he was just like, that's just sad.
Yeah,
but he didn't seem demoralized. He was more laughing at it than anything, just because that's how Mario Kart goes sometimes.
I mean, Mario Kart is just as much luck as it is skill, so you never know what to expect.
Right, so it's like if you can, skill can get you some places, but you get around to really good items or things just connect in your favor, especially with that ending spam. Like sometimes you just gotta throw out a prayer, and sometimes a God answers.
Yeah.
So taking a moment to talk things over before not getting too hasty into getting in a lobby. I do like that they have a little bit of opportunity there to take a breath. Uh-oh. Who do we got there? Excite Bike.
Here's
oh,
the Excite
boy.
Bike.
Look at that. Rare poll considering how many tracks. Does this poll DLC tracks as well, or is it just the base 48?
It's all DLC tracks. It's like all the other tracks, yeah.
All right, well, let's see if their favorite is Excite Bike Arena, so they better be hyped for this one. Expecting good results.
Yeah, I'm expecting a top 4 finish.
Yeah. Let's say they better, or at least I'd say lock up top 4 of 6. If they can lock up top 4 of 6, then I think they should be pretty set. So
yeah, if you get a good race here, you can have an opportunity on the last one just to snag the win from Leadership.
Right, you just got to worry about cutting the deficit as much as you can, so you just give yourself as much leeway as you possibly can for the final race, because you know they're going to be playing incredibly defensively and try hard if the lead's going to be close. So hanging out in the middle of the pack so far with Solo Psych bagging for some items. Has a couple of mushrooms in the stockpile, though.
Yeah, I'd like to see Solo Psych get more into the bag here a little bit. I just think getting a good item like a shock or
I feel like because overtaking is so difficult on this map, a shock would be huge to really just cut it down if you can play cheeky like that.
Or even a boo. Like, let's say they're taking that
Solo
mushroom
Psych.
cut.
So much for leaning in. Now they're sitting up here at first and front running.
Absolutely.
Which will take that, but Yoshi looks like Kart combo, and also only being at 6 coins, I wouldn't be surprised if Lafayette had 10 right now, just barely eking it out. Right there, Solo Psych, if they want to be dangerous at the very end, you could take it in between the grass and the mud cut.
Yes, but
that's tough. Like, you kind of have to leave that for last resort. So
I want to see like a boo item. If Leadership tries to take a cut there and you boo them, they're just stuck in the grass, and then you can just cut right through them.
Right. Stormtrooper hanging out pretty far back in 8th, but I'm okay with this. It is last lap, though, so they really got to hit the double item box here. They got it. Cross your fingers for a shock. No can go, but the boo is there, but I don't know if it's going to do much at this point in the race. I like the grass cut there, but it's still going to be a little bit of a tough finish. And if Leadership Prep ends up with a plus 19 advantage, then they will lock in their first set. 4th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and yeah, that'll
probably do it. Yeah.
That'll definitely be a difference of 19 or more, and that'll lock in the first set for Leadership Prep. We'll play the 6th map just for what's the word I'm looking for?
Just to kind of finalize things, wrap it up. But
right, so formality's sake, that's what I'm looking for. Just a formality, but that's okay. They can hang out, and again, they have 2 more sets to work with. So we'll see what happens, but I mean, I like what happened in the first set. I think a little bit more goes their way, especially, say you get a shock at the end or the item spam at the end of Yoshi doesn't work out so well. They're definitely still in this. Like, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah,
so.
I'm just a little curious about item luck. It seems like when you're that far back, you'd expect better items than just mushrooms all the time, but you never know.
Right, because he was pretty intensely back, and like triple mushroom's still nice and a boob, but yeah, I would expect maybe a gold or
yeah, I would have loved a bullet
shock.
bill there, honestly.
That would have been nice too. Just any one of those really nice items that happen when you're just so far back, you would hope, but. It's RNG, man. That's just a little part of this game that unfortunately means so much when the skill is pretty even, so. Hanging out here on Wario just to finish things up, and I feel like this is going to be a nice tune-up matchup for them, so now that everything's off the table, there aren't any stakes at the moment, but you tune things up, take some risks, see what works, see what doesn't, get yourself in a good calm rotation, you should be set going into the next set.
If you get a nice finish here, that can be used as like a good gateway to the next set, and you can probably get something going.
Yeah, nice morale booster to just kind of launch you into that second set and hopefully take an early lead and maybe just ride that until the end of the set.
Absolutely.
So, see if they can clean it up. But overall, fairly clean racing from everybody, though. I'd say it's not. I haven't seen very many egregious mistakes. So,
well, it's nationals. You'd hope for that, honestly.
yeah, you would hope for that. So, again, only some fine tune-ups that I can really see, and that's quite all right. So I feel like I've seen maximum maybe like one failed cut, but it's okay. Happens sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like at this point in the game, everybody's just so skilled at the driving that items really play a big role in how you can cut ahead of people and take cuts.
Right, so getting that little minutia, the things that you can't necessarily practice, but you just like kind of have to learn, and you have to know exactly just kind of what to do when, really. You've gotten down the base mechanics so well, now you got to figure out your game sense.
Yeah. It's almost like any sport, honestly.
Yep, so I gotta say, I pretty much pulled that piece of commentary straight from my Rocket League experience. So yeah, you can really apply that anywhere. So had a little bit of a rough time solo psych though, hanging out in second place. Decent front running, although a lot of leadership prep still hanging out pretty far up there in first.
Yeah, maybe they can just scratch the set and just move on with it. Just don't really think much about it.
Right, it's like you have a mulligan for a reason, so comes down to it, you just go next, and that's all right.
That's right.
All right, a little bit of a better finish there, but definitely. Oh yeah, yeah, Stormtrooper and Skywalker, how fun! So. All right, your final point difference is going to be a difference of 44, 142.94. Leadership Prep's going to take your first set of this series, and then it is a best of 3, so we're going to play at least one more set of 6 races, and if Highlands Ranch takes that, it'll be a winner-takes-all Game 3, same format. So, boss giving me a side eye. Man, lots of different communications. We will be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. Uh-oh. Ben, what'd you do? What'd you do to the casters? Oh, my God, Benjamin. We're going to have some problems later, but I'll fight you outside later. Anyway, point is, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the internet, so a couple of players have actually decided to go split screen just to save on some bandwidth, because the problem they were having is they were observing that they were pretty much only getting mushrooms when they were bagging for some item strategies, when usually, as we kind of were commenting on over the break, you can usually get something a little better once in a while, at least, like a golden mushroom or a shock or a bullet, something like that. Point is, they were having some absurdly bad item luck, and internet, they've noticed, tends to be squirrely when that's the case.
Yeah, internet sometimes have a role with that. Like, I think it was fall semester, we had the same problem in the playoffs. We were just getting mushrooms, and we were all bottom floor. So
right,
the internet's going to be an issue if that continues.
Right, so I'm glad that at least we get to see all 4, though. So I was worried that we would only have 3 screens, and we're just going to kind of have to guess on where the other one is, or at least observe on the map if there was enough spacing between them. But we're all set right now. Stormtrooper, that's an unlucky miss on the last on those last 2 item boxes. But it's all right. So nothing burger to start things out on the second set. Benjamin, update the scoreboard. Silly.
Well, I just figuring things out right here. Just quick little switch up, and then as soon as we're just kind of chilling, everybody just decides they're ready. So we just got to make some adjustments.
Right. So that was, I think, the first big mistake I've seen was a bit of friendly fire between Stormtrooper and Solo Sight. Caught them with the mushrooms on accident. But it's okay. Still looking okay, especially with that Shao and Lafayette. That should be pretty nice. Skywalker still has a decent lead. Doubt there will be much of a catch-up.
Yeah, Stormtrooper versus Skywalker here.
Oh, decent mushroom. I don't think, I can't take the full cut on just 1 mushroom, so we'll have to settle for second. And then
4-5 and
2, 4, 5, 8. That's a pretty even split.
That's manageable.
So definitely manageable. Should only be a difference of a couple of points, I'd say. Yeah, 3 points, that's fine. So that's just your pretty standard deviation. So not too shabby. Quick one to get things going. There we go. Cool. Think randoms. All right, everyone's just getting straight into it. No breaks. Granted, not really much of a need to take a break after that one.
Honestly, like when you're having a pretty good start like that one, honestly, you'll take that and you just want to keep going. Yeah, that's all right. Again, it's Mario Circuit, like whatever. So nothing crazy. That's not really going to decide anything, and I didn't see much of that. DK Mountain, fun. DK Mountain. There are some pretty nice cuts here. If the guys can take advantage of that one, that'll put them up pretty big.
Yep, and this is phenomenal. I know Golreth was practicing the canyon cut at the very end.
I can never do that one. I just stay on the track.
Yeah, no, it's tough. You got to take a much wider angle than you ever expect to for it to pull it off. Many times when I've been racing, I've taken it too sharply and ended up hitting the fence beforehand. So
maybe we'll be treated to some nice tricks here by Golreth.
Decent start, top 3 out of 4 right now, sitting in favor of Highlands Ranch. So still hanging out at some decent spots, still top 3 out of 4. So
still getting mushrooms in the bottom though.
Right. So they are pretty close though. Fat Boy is like pretty close behind and nearly passed him up. Just unfortunate boulder timing. Golreth is looking decent, although good to note, Golreth was practicing that cut earlier, but that's going to be a decent bit more difficult to take when you only have half the screen to work with.
Absolutely.
So
also just the pressure of the game, honestly, when you got people behind you trying to eliminate you, you just...
Yep.
It's a lot harder to do that.
That pressure, tougher to orient yourself, just a bit more of a difficult time in general, but they're managing so far, so again, no huge comments on this race so far. Have fallen a little bit behind, but still nothing to be super concerned about after only less than halfway through the second lap. Let's go around the board real quick. Solo Psych sitting in 3rd. And oh, that's a tough shell break right there. Everyone was pretty slow down there just for a moment. Solo Psych, I think, could have overtaken to 1st with a little bit better shell luck, but that's okay.
Yeah, it seems like it's just item mania right now. Everybody's just throwing everything.
Right, everyone's going nuts. And it looks like one of their guys did attempt the shortcut. I don't know if they made it. I think they're far enough ahead where they did just barely make that cut. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 2nd. That's pretty solid, leaving the bottom 2 spots up for leadership preps taking. Still things fairly even heading into the cannon of the last lap. 3-point difference, second race. Still plenty of time, but want to even things up here quick.
Yeah, you're going to want to start building some momentum here if you want to have a chance at winning.
Yeah, you gotta. So no lives to spare left when you have a short series like this. Long matches, but short series, so
absolutely
can only afford one. Again, tough shell luck. Will Solo Psych attempt anything here? No. No cuts attempted. Golreth actually does take one at the very end. Was pretty far behind. Has 3 mushrooms to try and make up a difference, but might be too far behind to make anything happen.
That's a rough finish.
Tough finish, yeah. Yeah, rough spot. There's still, it's still technically a 1-race game, but not by much.
Yeah, you're probably going to need top 4 if you consider it a 1-race game, let's be honest here.
Yeah, you do need top 4. You maybe can get away with 1, 3, 4, or maybe get away with a tie on like 1, 2, 3, 5, but still, you're going to need some better finishes. Falcons really need to lock in here if they want a chance at moving on. So. Plenty of time, but you got to get things going now before it's just out of reach again, like at the end of the 5th race.
Well, maybe if you get a good track here, everybody can just start feeling good, and then just they start racing like crazy. Who knows?
Right. So I do wonder if Golreth could have pulled off that shortcut again. If I mentioned, because you have your field of view shrunk down to half, it's just harder to orient yourself on a shortcut that really needs that the dramatic reorientation from the curve. So
yeah, a wider view would definitely work.
Right. So.
Okay, Neo Bowser City for this one.
This is an interesting one. So, I think probably the curviest track in the entire, at least the hardest on 200 because of how many sharp, constant corners there are.
That's true, especially near the end.
Right. So, luckily you don't really need a whole lot of braking in this, which is nice. In 150, all the turns are pretty oriented to like 150 reps, except for the last one. You might need, if you want to take a really tight line, just a little bit of brakes. So. I don't know, it shouldn't be too bad. I feel like this one's kind of a wash, but the track is fairly thin. You notice a lot of people are going to get bumped there behind, so I wouldn't be surprised if you had some people getting rammed off the track and having a bit of a tough time there. 2, 3, 4, and 7, that's a decent spot. Kind of just trying to turn the last match on its head, though.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely a map where skills are going to be tested for these racers. If they can actually drift and do the turns right, be able to cut ahead here, that'd be huge.
Right, and you usually have Lafayette or the other. I can't remember the other one, but you usually, I feel like if they can reasonably lock in the top 3 of 4 and keep that momentum running, it's okay, because usually leadership prep, they tend to have the person who is front running the most. But if they can kind of keep those battles tense for like the 2 to 5th place range and get a 3 out of 4 in there, then that should be enough of a split to keep them going. Stormtrooper takes a tough fall on the mushroom.
Well, maybe you can start a good bag here if you're Stormtrooper.
Yeah, you figure so. Use up a couple of items real here. Get your second. There's a shock and a bullet. Finally, some decent luck for them.
There we go.
Gotta hang on to that.
That is huge.
Stormtrooper now.
Now you got first.
Look at that. First, third, fourth, and fifth. This is huge. Last lap, they got to be able to hold this, and they can really cut the deficit down if they can manage it.
Yeah, let's hope they don't get a shock back now. Now they're due shock.
Mm-hmm. And Benjamin even sharing the items. Lafayette still a bit far up and looks like had a defensive item to cover, but still we're sitting at second, third, fourth, and fifth. This is huge.
Last turn here, just don't mess it up.
Yep. This is going to be enormous if they can finish this off. Look at that. Second, third, fourth. Oh no, Stormtrooper gets hit with something.
6.
Second, third. That's tough. Stormtrooper just got hit last second. Still though, that's a decent split. It was a 16-point lead before. Let's see what the difference is now. 17 points. Okay. That's a tough way to end it. That's kind of very reminiscent of Yoshi Valley earlier, when they were pretty far in the lead in most places beforehand, but then just last-second items managed to cut the difference.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. You just got to finish out that race there. Just try not to mess it up.
Right, got to finish strong, and a couple of the players were taking some pretty wide turns, which wasn't quite helping the case either. Yeah. All right, let's see what we land on. That looks like Bowser's Castle 3, I want to say. Indeed it is. Bowser's Castle 3 from the SNES.
Alrighty.
Short track, you can take some super tight lines here, and that's going to be very beneficial. Granted, always beneficial, but again, you can really cut a lot of corners pretty close here. You know, with a track as short as this, bagging is going to be especially beneficial if they can get some really good items.
Yeah, I just don't see him focusing on the bag as much. I don't really know what's going on.
Right. Might have to take like a little brief timeout, or as long as the timer will permit, to get some more strategy pieces going. First, third, fifth, and sixth though, we're sitting in a decent spot for the first lap. But again, with as short of a track as this, you can't really say a whole lot really until you start getting into the third lap. So things will not be quite settling in as easy. Again, the lowest placement right now is 5th, though. That's really nice.
You like the good start, but you just hope that they can finish it out.
Yeah, Fat Boy, though, did take a pretty big tumble, which sent him all the way back to 8th, though. If they can set up a good bag, then this won't matter as much. Star on the first one, opts to go for the single item. We're going to keep the cut here, especially. Nice cut with the star in hand. 3 mushrooms and another star, so mostly just single items. First, second, 6th, and 8th. They can keep the 1st and 2nd. That's going to be huge for them, but you really just need to hope those personal items for their last place folks are going to come in clutch here.
I mean, Stormtrooper's already coming up. He's got 4th right now, and he's coming up on 3rd. Oh, as soon as I said that.
Yep. As soon as you said that again, look at that, Masonio.
Just make sure to shut my mouth next time that happens.
Caster's Curse. All right, well, we got a sandwich once again. You saw anything, though? Those higher places are going to be worth more, so if they can hold this, they can at least cut the lead down a little bit. We're on the 4th track, so you keep the lead manageable for leadership prep, and you'll still have a decent chance. 1st, 6th, 7th, and 8th, though, that's really rough. You got to hope for some decent personal items, maybe a bullet.
Yeah, it doesn't
Goreth is going to lock in 1st place, but we got to keep an eye on everybody else. A boombox is taking care of some things. Again, Solo Psych, and yeah, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Oh man.
Again, you're seeing they're taking good leads in the mid game, but then it just keeps slipping away from them.
Yeah, it's all about the finish
during the last lap. So 24-point difference. 19 is a difference in the 1st to 4th. They got to have going into the 5th and 6th race. They got to have a couple of huge races to even just push this one to a 3rd set.
A couple of top 4s were doing good. That put them just over.
Yeah, if you get back-to-back top 4s, I think the worst they can do is a top 6.
Yeah,
it's the absolute worst. A top 6 with a 1st place. Oh, we're getting a sub.
Getting a sub?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Oh. Shoot, I don't know his gamer tag.
That's right, we'll have a look, though.
Absolutely. Well, they didn't even switch out the characters either. They're just jumping right in. I don't know what happened.
It's quite all right. Well, moving forward, I suppose. Once again, really the worst that they can finish is a top 6 with 1st place, I would say. Past that, and you're going to really need to pull out some... I mean, they need to cut the lead here because they need to cut the lead by, I believe it was a 24-point deficit, so they at least need to come up with 5 points up on this race, or else we're going to go into a wash of a 6th race again.
Yeah. It's just... Yeah, you hope Highlands Range can find the same magic that they want State with, hopefully.
Yeah. Stormtrooper looking decent, though, taking some tighter lines. Solo Psych leaning into that bag a little bit more.
You want to see more of that, honestly.
More. So they'd say like double or triple even the distance.
Absolutely. Yeah, if Stormtrooper can just keep moving up and Solo Psych keep moving back, we could see some good luck here.
Yeah. You got a top 4 right now, though, which is nice. So with these longer tracks, you can start to really settle into your positions just a little bit more as the gap widens. 1st, 2nd, and 4th, good looks. Now good. Solo Psych catching some boost pads, moving further up. Oh, a crazy 8. That's a big one.
Oh, that's huge.
Huge right now, just has to make good use of it.
1, 2, 5, 6. Let's hope they can finish it out here.
Spammed all the things. Yep, 1, 2, 4, and 5 right now. So if they can manage this top 5, this is going to be fantastic for them.
Ooh, but I will say, don't move too much up. They could probably get a shock if
and the
Stormtrooper keeps moving like he is.
And the item spam especially, we've seen that bite them in the end. So see, they finish this out top 3 right now. This is huge, and if they keep this top 3, it probably wouldn't matter a whole lot where Solo Psych finishes.
Oh, Stormtrooper just boomboxed the blue shell. That's probably the best item they'd probably get in 8th.
Yep, that's huge. Still first, second, and third. Stormtrooper locks up first. Golrath locks up second.
Another crazy 8.
Fat Boy locks up third. Crazy 8. I don't think it's too much of a wash at this point, but that top 3 is huge.
That is huge.
All right, let's see it. Okay, the deficit has been cut to 13.
They are right back in this.
Okay, that's manageable. It's going to go into a 6th race. The 6th race is no longer a wash, but they still need a comparable finish. Actually, not they need a better finish. Like if they can, because at that point in the race, any higher that the higher that last band could have gotten, like you get 1 place higher, that knocks 1 point off. You get 2 places higher, that knocks 3 points off, 6 and then 10.
So the more you move up, you're just knocking more
because
you're
knocking more and more people down. So 13-point deficit. They need something huge. Rome Avanti. I don't think that from the
I don't think they're a
reaction
big
to the
fan
crowd,
of that one.
yeah, I don't think so. That's going to be a tough pull.
Oh.
All right. Well, I think the worst they can do. That's tough to say. I feel like if they need to at least lock up a top 3 again, and then they need to have just a better finish from the last man back.
5th or 6th would be pretty nice for that bottom guy.
Yeah, if you can, I'd say a top 5 or a 1, 2, 3, 6. I think 1, 2, 3, 6 is probably the worst they can do. Yeah. So, well, gotta lock in an unfavorable track. Adversity is meant for these moments. But regardless of this result, though, making nationals is a pretty sweet accomplishment.
Oh, yeah. First time the school's been here, and we're hoping to see more success in the coming years.
Right, and you only have 1 person graduating out, so you can continue and fester the talent that you have running through the system right now. So
yeah, that makes it pretty good for us to be able to come back here and play the same way we have.
Right. So, and then now with this VOD especially, you can go back and have a look and do some replay reviews. That's going to be decently valuable. You can take this into next year. So, when are you guys done with classes?
We have our last final tomorrow, actually.
Sweet. Well, congratulations. So, right around the corner. Are you anticipating anything big?
No, nothing much.
Nice. Okay, a bit rough so far on the second go around. I am not a fan of the tour maps personally. I am
the tour maps are awful.
Yeah, just not my thing. Granted, if I practice them more and learn the routes, I'd probably have a slightly more favorable opinion of them, but even then, there's only a couple that I really like out of the 12 or 14 that are in there. Well, so
my problem is more I just can't tell where I'm going half the time.
Exactly.
The maps are too big.
Yeah, so they're too huge. Just a far steeper learning curve. I don't know, it's just not great. And then sometimes I feel like the guiding arrows don't spawn in quickly enough. And then you just can't correct yourself in time in case you're going the wrong direction. And yeah, you can tell that the struggles on the tour maps are starting to happen.
Yeah.
We got a 2nd hanging out right now, but still 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah,
in a bit of a rough spot with 3rd lap now, 3rd leg, I should say. Yeah, starting to come up here on the end. This looks like it. Some decent item luck would be nice here, but yeah, that is it, unfortunately.
Ooh.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th. That's a decent finish, though, but I don't think that's going to be enough to close the gap because Lafayette locked in that 1st place, and that's huge. Final score, 121 to 113. Again, shaved another few points off of it, but unfortunately just couldn't mount a big enough comeback. With a good finish though on Rome Avanti, that's better than based on the reaction. Yeah. I was expecting them to take more of a deficit, so a good way to finish. But still,
they ended off really nice. If they could just start off the way they did, they would be in a way better position right now.
Right. So, oh boy, kind of reminds me of the reverse avalanche.
Yeah.
Start.
That was just awful. I don't even want to remember that.
I'm at least Hurricanes are my favorite East team, so at least I can lean on them, but still not a great. We won't talk about that, but thank you guys for tuning in today. We really appreciate you guys tuning in for the first appearance in the National Championships for Mario Kart for the Highlands Ranch High School. I'm here with Montez. Is there anything you want to say to the folks at home?
Nothing much. Just thank you guys for letting us be here. It's a wonderful facility you guys have, and hopefully we'll be here maybe sometime next year.
Yeah, anytime. We'd love to have you guys here. Again, the Cahoots will keep going. So my name is Fizzy. Shout out Ben. Shout out Tyler, our producer at the moment. You guys will see him on the Rocket League streams. And then Tyler, he's the one that makes everything here possible. It's been a great time, you guys. We'll see you later.